I gave you life. Now you must give it back to me. Only a million times more radiant, more powerful. Stop! Stop! What? Stop! What? Think of all those men out there in their uniforms, barking and swallowing orders, inflicting their petty rule over the entire globe. Think of all the harm they've done to you, to me, to humanity. And know this, that we can make them and the flags and their anthems and their governments disappear in a flash. You and me.
Welcome to the Perfect Movie Podcast, the podcast where we answer the question, is this a perfect movie? I'm Kalen.
I'm Michael.
Today we have a very special episode. We're still doing our Friends February, even though it's March 1st. Today I have two good friends, kind of good friends.
Well,
they're okay. I have two my friends, Jonathan.
Hey.
And my friend Andrew.
Hi there.
Thank you guys for coming on. If you guys kind of just want to say a little bit about yourself and your opinion about the Palestine and Israeli conflict.
Yeah. Question one, Israel or Palestine? Choose a side.
Bombs, and more bombs, baby.
Okay, Andrew. I'm not touching this one.
All right, who's going first?
So, we're did they give their... Hold on.
No, we just got covered Israel Palestine. Now we have to
okay, we're good.
That whole thing out to the movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to talk a little bit about my friend John here because this guy is our residential actor.
Yep.
Just got done wrapping up a film, so congratulations on that, my guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, big money.
Big money.
Yeah.
More money, more problems. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew, you want to tell a bit about yourself real quick? Where you come from, what you do?
I'm just a lover of films. A student of the world. Swagged out player.
Dripped out. Drip check real quick. What you got on, boy?
A man of many layers. What Super Bowl is that? Ravens Giants
from the year 2000.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
You know
shirt, actually.
Who's at quarterback there for the New York Giants?
I don't even know if this is the quarterback, but I am not sure.
I'm pretty sure that's Kerry Collins, Giants quarterback.
I should have known that.
That's like the first Super Bowl I remember as a child.
Yeah.
So that touches me personally.
He's 29.
I'm older.
Whoa, you just aired Michael's whole age out.
Come on, man.
On the internet.
We did this last week.
Oh, we did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
It's been a topic of discussion because I'm looking forward to 30.
You're going to feel so powerful
I've
when you
never
turn
heard
30,
of anybody
dude.
looking forward to 30.
No, I mean, like,
People
I see
say
it.
It's better than your 20s.
Yeah.
And I want to die.
Because you'll care less about things that don't matter when you turn 30.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
There's no burden on me to be, like, in the know,
Yeah.
cool, straight to dad mode, except I'm going to have no kids. So like,
It's like being 60, except you still have, like, your youthful vigor, So.
Yeah.
It'll fit me better, actually. Now I am looking forward to 30.
Because you're already crotchety, and so you're just going to, like, gracefully walk into your crotchetiness.
I love it.
Kalen, I want to talk about your hoodie right now.
Okay, let's talk about it.
This is a good topic.
What material is this?
This is alpaca,
Can I feel it?
fresh off the farm. Pretty soft, right?
Looks bad.
Alpacas don't bat. Do they bat? Nice try.
Wait, do they?
I don't think they do that.
Do they make any noise?
Which
they,
ones
they
spit?
spit.
No,
They
llamas
spit.
spit.
Llamas.
Alpacas
Llamas are the
are
spitters.
llamas.
And camels.
No, they're not.
That's
They're
racist.
You guys,
I'm
come on.
being specious right now.
No.
Excuse me. Alpacas are llamas.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. They're the same thing.
Get the fuck out of here. Why make the distinction?
They're both fluffy and they have the long necks.
I'm sure they're part of the same general group, but
the same genus.
Ooh.
maybe.
Just
I
hit
don't
you
know.
with a big word right there, buddy.
only had like 2 syllables.
It's only
It's literally
5 letters. I had to count it on my hand.
It's as long as your name.
All right, fair enough.
All right, we've
Okay,
gone through the drip
Speaking
check.
of science, we watched a movie that's all about science.
Oh my god, what a
Kinda?
segue.
Yeah.
He did it.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're talking about 2003 Hulk, which I don't think anybody's ever talked about this movie before.
We are
might
the
be
first people.
ones.
It broke new ground.
I was pleasantly surprised when John, he was like, I was like, you guys need to pick a movie. And John was like, what's the director's name?
Ang Lee.
He knew the director's name and everything.
Yeah.
He was like, Ang Lee's Hulk, 2003.
Ang
And I was like, oh, shit. I saw that movie in theaters. I totally forgot I did.
You did too?
I did.
Oh.
I did. I think my dad took me to go watch this. And I was excited to see this because this movie came out after Spider-Man 2002. Mm-hmm. And that's when
That's
Marvel
right.
was going
That's
through
right.
this big kind of renaissance of superhero movies because you had X-Men in the 2000s or the early 2000s. Was it 2001 or 2000?
I think it's like 2000.
Okay.
The first one.
Then you had Spider-Man and then Hulk.
Yeah, I had a quick question actually. So I know you and I have seen this in theaters. Michael and Andrew, is this your first time watching this film, or?
This was my first time, but I did play the video game
Hell
off
yeah.
this movie.
Oh, from PS2?
Which one? Which one though?
I think it was on GameCube.
Was it Ultimate Destruction or was it
the game movie?
The 2000 actual
I think it was.
game
I think it
time?
was just Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I remember you could take cars and you could rip them in half and then turn them into gloves.
That's the wrong one.
That was Ultimate.
That's Ultimate
That's
Destruction.
Ultimate
Fuck,
Destruction.
dude.
That
I'm
one
so
was,
embarrassed.
That one
That
was
is-
really good.
That is one of the greatest games ever made.
Oh my gosh.
Street cred revoked.
God damn it.
Actually, I mean, you're not totally wrong because the game, it's the same studio. They made both. So if you look at the gameplay is very similar.
What was it? Insomniac, I think.
Was it Insomniac?
I wanna
No,
say.
Insomniac is the new Spider-Man.
Whoever made the prototype games. Do you remember those?
Oh, I think it is Insomniac. Am I tweaking? No, I
It
know.
might be because the gameplay is very similar between Prototype.
Prototype
and
was
Ultimate
just like
Destruction.
emo Hulk in
Basically.
Mass Destruction.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
Great
a
game.
Rated M Hulk. game.
Anyways,
But yeah,
this is-
Michael.
Oh, go ahead.
I
go
wanted
ahead.
to know. If
Yeah. I feel like I've seen this movie as a child. I know I definitely, as a child, watched the action scenes. I think I've seen that desert action scene when he escapes from the big base.
So good.
But I, like, all the other stuff in this movie, I had no recollection. So either I watched it and I forgot all that stuff, or I've selectively hunted out the action scenes, which is something I would do.
I'll
as a
say
kid.
this: I went in expecting Hulk smash, ended up seeing Hulk ass, and so I think it was worth the watch. Don't you think? I don't know.
Wait, are you saying that Hulk's naked in this movie?
Hulk was butt ass naked for a scene.
I don't remember seeing his butt once.
Dude, you
He-
see
he was very
full on
naked.
Hulk cheeks.
Oh, damn.
What? I don't know if we watched the same one.
Did you watch the 2008 with Edward Norton?
Kalen,
That's what I thought we were going to watch.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit! You actually watched it?
No, I watched.
Okay, good.
You watched the right one. He's just fucking with you.
No, the scene with the dogs when he gets attacked by the dogs.
I think
Afterwards,
he's wearing pants in there.
no, bro.
At the end of it, the dogs ripped off his pants.
Because one of the dogs bit his dick.
That happens in this
I
movie.
remember the dick bite. I remember the dick bite. That
Yeah.
struck a chord. I don't remember any Hulk ass.
The part that was the part that was hilarious when he picked up the dog and punched the dog in the nuts.
In the balls, yeah.
That was pretty sick.
Wild movie.
Yeah.
I like when
Crazy.
he gets to down to business with the dogs and just rips them in half. he's like they're kicking his ass for 5 minutes. And he's like, all right, fuck.
No,
this.
I like the part when the dogs learned to climb trees.
That was really
They
cool.
weren't climbing trees; they were jumping.
They just jumped
They
straight
jumped
up.
onto those branches.
Yeah.
They just, I feel like they took a little walk out there. Like they
They
scrambled
jumped
up.
on there.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
I swear I remember them jumping.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had a question for the introduction of the film, where it's like the opening credits.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that? Almost I don't know how you describe it. Kind of like a trippy
It's like a comic book panel.
comic book panel. Yeah. And I think that's what Ang Lee was going for. He was trying to fuse comic book panels.
I'll be honest.
the
I think
film.
he ripped that straight from Spider-Man 2002.
You think so?
Yes, the intros are uncannily similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very similar, although the primary difference was animal abuse. I was more struck by all the animal abuse in the credits.
Oh, dude, the starfish.
I was like,
man.
starfish getting sliced, sea cucumber gutted.
Yeah.
Monkey, fuck you. Like,
Yeah, no, they cuts the starfish's leg off. I don't even know if starfishes have legs.
Patrick Star.
but the one thing we all know about starfish is their appendages grow back. So I mean,
I did not know that about starfish.
That's true.
that's like the one thing.
That's the fact about starfish.
Yeah.
People know.
If you know anything,
I don't know anything apparently.
did you know that Patrick Star was a starfish?
I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob. Honestly,
Should watch it. Oh, it's pretty good.
I
It's
should.
It doesn't,
good show.
It doesn't hold up.
It doesn't.
What are you talking about?
If you ask me, too woke.
SpongeBob
We all knew Sandy was.
2002.
We all knew
woke?
Sandy was black. Okay, let's be honest. Come on now.
Segue from that. This is maybe a mind opener. I don't really know where this would have fit in our segment, so here it is. Ang Lee, okay. Hulk is angry.
Yo.
That's
Yeah, everybody's stunned. Listeners, the silence you hear is them being stunned. Mind blown.
Everything makes sense now.
Are you boys glad you came?
Maybe I should have taken one of those shots. You know.
The bottle is still in there.
Oh man. Overall, kind of a experimental movie. I mean, if you really look at it, going back to like the comic panel type thing, Ang Lee uses like camera angles in the comic panel way, where you see like one character looking. It's hard to explain because like I don't have that much movie lingo in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
But like he'll split shots in a way where you'll see, and if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Where like you'll see one character looking in one direction, same character looking in like a different direction.
Or
kinda.
when he cuts, and I kind of found this irritating. The wipes that happened. There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that looks bad.
Yeah.
That looks really bad. Like Star Wars prequels bad. Just pretty much.
Yeah.
On the panels point though, yeah, it is very comic book recreation because I think the best use of that is in the there's this scene where Hulk's dad is like breaking into the in the future, not the first time he breaks into the why can't I think of the base,
Yeah.
the lab.
The lab.
Yeah.
He's breaking into the lab and the security guard is there and he's like pressing something under the panel and we see like the security guard's face, we see his face, and we see his hand reach under like the table to like press a button on the panel.
Yep.
All in the same frame, just like it would be like splashed across a comic book page where we're getting all that action all in one image.
I'm thinking, should we jump into the performance test?
It was the performance of a lifetime!
Performance test is where we talk about our favorite performances, actors, characters, and moments. Andrew, do you have a favorite or a standout character?
Nick Nolte always rules. Just god tier, crazy person. Jennifer Connelly, oof, Maron.
Mami.
Maron.
It did kind of feel like she had the same facial expression in every scene,
Absolutely.
but she's hot, so it's fine. Sam Waterston is the colonel, right, or the army guy?
I believe
Sam
so.
Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Yeah.
He was not great, in my opinion.
No. And you
It
know
was
who
kind of off-putting.
who was worse was his younger version of himself.
Oh yeah,
That guy was bad. The first scene that guy was in where he confronts Bruce Banner's, I almost said Bruce Wayne, Bruce Banner's dad, and his like face, and he was like, "You better not do this." Like it was bad, dude. I was like, "Holy shit!"
I don't know if it's bad. I think it's very over the top, but I feel like this movie has this like this sort of like cheesy edge to it that I think is purposeful
It's
because
like a Saturday morning
it's
cartoon.
all part of the like sort of like feel of this movie because like the sets have that like cartoony like it's like a little bit above like a fucking Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's I feel like it's leaning into like the comic book schlock but knowingly, whether you like it or not. I don't think it's Like, I think that they're doing exactly what they were asked, like the actors. You
There
know?
were huge swaths of this movie that felt like I was watching Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's literally. I mean, they're both around the same time. And so, like, yeah, it has that really cheap quality to it, but it's kind of, like, adorable, you know?
Oh, yeah, it was great.
And it kind of felt like they put a lot of work into this movie. Oh, yeah. That's kind of, like, what I got from it, at least.
I remember when I first bought like the DVD set for this back when it came out in like 2004, I think. There was a lot of bonus content that would be shoved into that. Like they talk about like the physiology of like the Hulk and how the angrier he gets, the more physically he like grows. That's the difference between the Hulk that you see in Marvel nowadays and this Hulk. When this Hulk gets angrier, he physically like gets taller and larger.
He was massive in this.
Yeah, he was like 10, 11 feet tall.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I really like that about this Hulk. I think it's kind of like they talk about it like with the nanomed technology, how it's like it's built to like heal wounds and like, you know, stuff. But like for the Hulk, it's trauma based. So whenever he experiences trauma, the nanomeds like multiply and he just gets much bigger. So I don't know how much of the science holds up because I'm not a scientist. I don't know what they're talking about.
Sure, it doesn't.
But I just like how they explain that, you know, in the film, you know.
What we've definitely lost with modern Hulk is any of the anger or like the bad side. It's the same for kind of all the superheroes. We've lost like the alter ego, the like real life of these heroes, and they're all just
all like celebrities.
Yeah, basically. And they all just kind of like are constantly in like adventures that have like such high stakes. You never see like a fucking normal person.
Yeah,
you know.
There's no character outside of this is the Captain Man. This is his thing. These are his powers.
Well, and I think the Bruce Banner from the MCU, he's more of like a comic relief character, which is interesting that they went that route with the Hulk. You know what I mean? You would think he would be like, I mean, obviously this whole thing is like, I'm angry, I'm gonna smash stuff. You know?
He's that now. I think early on he was a bit more emo. Not as emo as this movie. This movie's very emo.
Actually,
He's
I think
freaking pissed.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the Edward Norton one is even more pissy and emo. I don't know if you've seen the Edward Norton.
Because Edward Norton's got that energy.
Yeah.
100%. And Eric Bana, I feel like he's kind of like ordering Christian Bale off of Wish. You know, like a lot of the same energy, but it's just not. It's not all the way there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes where they're at the dinner table. I noticed that.
Yeah.
It's a great place to have a conversation.
A lot of candid conversation.
Apparently. I swear there's like at least 4 or 5 scenes of him sitting talking to what's Betty?
Yeah,
Betty Brant?
Betty Ross.
Betty Ross.
Betty Ross. Betty Brant is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay. I just noticed that. It was kind of funny every time I saw it. Like,
what do you guys think of Eric Bana's performance as Bruce Banner in this film?
It's a little one note, but I think that's more the writing's fault than his performance's fault. Right. He's just very sad. It's funny because he starts the movie and he's like this chipper boy on a bicycle, and then he decides to like save someone in a nuclear accident, and he has these repressed memories, and then it's just daddy issues the movie for like an hour and a half.
I was trying to remember what I saw him in. He was in Troy with Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. I knew he looked familiar, and I think he was fine in that, probably.
Yeah.
What about you?
That was fine.
Yeah.
I think you can look at it a couple ways. You can definitely look at the performance and say this is very one note because it is. You know, you don't see Eric Bana as Eric Bana Banner always mixes me up as like this very emotive character because he's written to be emotionally distant.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And even like Betty Ross in the beginning, I think it's like the first 15 minutes of the movie because they'd already broken up. She's like, I'm just so attracted to emotionally distant men, I guess. And he kind of just brushes it off. That kind of goes back to like his childhood trauma with his dad murdering his mother in front of him. Yeah. And I did want to talk about that a little bit because I don't know about you guys, but that whole scene, I think it does like childhood trauma really well with just like suppressed memories and how trauma can affect you into adulthood.
Right. Well, it's also like it's like that innocent factor as well because he's sitting there playing with his toys. He doesn't understand what's going on.
Oh, yeah,
And I
absolutely
remember
not.
watching that in the theaters and being uncomfortable in that scene, and I had to be like, I mean, how old were you?
Oh, I must have been 5 or 6.
Okay, so I was around the same age.
Same, yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember being like, this makes me feel funny. And I
Yeah.
don't like that feeling,
Well, it was the sound of like a father yelling at a child. I mean, which is very uncomfortable and can be traumatizing for a kid.
Right.
And I was just like, I mean, that's something that I could relate to as a 6-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought, what'd you guys think of young David Banner's performance? I don't know the actor's name. I should have looked it up, but
David Banner?
yeah, his father.
Oh, I thought just because I keep seeing this movie in ads, I thought he looked like Zac Efron in The Iron Claw. That's all I could think of.
Yeah, with the
With the
mustache,
chin.
though. The hair.
Yeah, it was interesting. I had a little like half giggle when you brought up the son almost being murdered, not because that's funny, but I was like, this would not be in any superhero movie in the year of 2023.
No
No
shot.
like PG-13. Like
you wouldn't
you guys
see
are talking
that.
about seeing this at 5 and 6, and I'm like, this shit is dark.
Mommy,
Yeah.
where's the Hulk?
Yeah, seriously, that's what it was. And there's a lot of jump scares in the first hour of this movie too.
Well, this movie takes a while to get to the point.
Oh yeah,
And it drags. Like I think it's like 20 minutes until you even like is in the lab and he gets hit with the
I think
gamma.
it's even more than that. I think it's about like at the
Almost half an hour.
40-minute mark where you first see him like transform.
Yeah.
This may be a trite observation, but it's way more of a psychological thriller than any kind of superhero movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's weird because it's also a movie that has like Hulk dogs, and I don't
Yeah.
even know what the hell happened with the dad at the end. Like, what was that? Who is that?
He should be in the running for the worst CGI like villain.
Yeah, that villain.
And not Steppenwolf.
When he like blows up at the end and expands, and I'm like, what?
That looked like some Power Rangers.
yeah.
It really did. So it's like it's like the two sides. Like, what? I don't know how we mesh these tones, but it's trying to do like two wildly different things. It feels like.
It's wearing multiple hats. It's a superhero movie disguised as like this monster thriller, like you said, Andrew. Well, it's almost like the Wolfman in a way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what it's like the dichotomy of like Jekyll and Hyde and the Wolfman. We've seen that before.
Man turns into monster.
Into a monster, yeah. But it's also very relatable because, you know, everyone has anger issues and we all deal with like the shadow side, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why I'm drawn to this movie so much is, yes, I watched it when I was 6, but like it also just reminded me of like, I don't know, my family dynamic. Like my dad was not going to kill me when I was 3, you know, or 4 in this movie, but like things that happen when you're younger really stick with you as an adult.
Yeah.
So like Bruce Banner, he's very emotionally distant because he experienced this terrible trauma where he watched his mother get stabbed by his father. And so he carries that. And they even explain that in the movie with the nanomeds. They only respond to trauma. But Bruce Banner has no physical trauma when he transforms. But he goes through a serious like anxiety episode where he's like furious because he's dealing with the gamma rays that he was exposed to. And he's dealing with Talbot trying to like basically buy Betty Ross and their research, and then he hears the dogs in the hallway. That crazy guy who we find out is his father, and that's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. And then he transforms into the Wolfman, the Jekyll and Hyde, you know, Hulk. It's crazy, and
Holy shit, he's like, you're breaking this down.
yeah,
I'm like,
no,
I'm
it's
like,
nuts.
I'm seeing it.
It's
Yeah.
nuts,
Yeah.
man, and you know, and it comes off as hammy at times, and I will admit that. And the action does drag. Not until like the last hour and a half do we see Hulk fighting like tanks, which is just a whole different other thing we can talk about later. But like, I don't know. I just think it handles trauma, like emotional trauma, so well, and I just want to peel off that. So yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting because I never saw this movie being any more than like this is like supposed to be a summer blockbuster superhero film.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. No, that's great.
yeah.
So if we're all good on performance test, I think we kind of ran through everybody. We can move on to It's an Art.
What's this?
It's an art project.
Okay, I like it. Picasso. Yeah, that way.
It's an art, bro, is where we talk about the specifics on the filmmaking process, sets, effects, lighting, framing, soundtrack, etc.
I don't know if this was costuming or just Nick Nolte doing him, but he looks like fucking like Dark Side Kevin Bacon in this movie, like the Dark Universe Kevin Bacon. He got like warped into here, and he's just like. I mean, that's how he sounds. But if you hear that sound, you can picture his face.
That's
you
just
know.
before the set. They're like, all right, you're good to go.
He looked like the guy from True Grit. You know,
Jeff Bridges?
Yeah,
he
that's
did.
what I thought he looked
Like
like.
a very rugged, homeless-looking Jeff Bridges character.
Yeah.
Huffing radon gas in a lab.
I will say this, and we talked about this a little last night, and we disagreed. I didn't think the CGI was terrible in this.
Oh, dude, it
And
sucks. It's so
it's
bad.
It's bad. Don't get me wrong.
I want to hear what you have to say
But
about
the
this.
the shots when Hulk is in the light, and like you can see like the different. I don't know. There's like a sheen to them, but it looks kind of like oddly like realistic.
Right.
And I would like. I'm thinking specifically the scene where he kind of pops out of the ground in San Francisco.
Yep.
I think, and he's like wiping the water off his face, and he's like raging out and stuff. And I was like, that looks good. Why does that look so good? And this movie is from 2003.
Yeah.
I thought it was impressive. But actually, now that I think about it, 2003, I'm like, we did have Lord of the Rings.
I feel like that's the one outlier example. Almost everything from 2003 that
Looked
arranged
terrible.
did not age well.
No.
Lord of the Rings just happened to they did it just right.
They hit the nail on the head with the practical effects mixed with CGI, and I think the practical effects.
I don't know. Spider-Man 2002 looked pretty good, too.
It did. Yeah, I agree.
I think it looked better than this. But, I mean, this is... I don't, what was the budget for this? I think that's
But then
the question
Spider-Man
we should
3
ask.
looks awful in a lot of places. So it's like, it was really, during that time, it was really like hit or miss.
Was Spider-Man 3 Sam Raimi, too?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because when I remember first watching this movie, I always thought to myself, why is it so dark?
Yeah.
Like every scene when it's nighttime or if they're in like a building, I can't see anything. I think that was purposefully done. Just because new TVs, you get a bit more brightness, at least on mine, when I watch this. And I could see, there are a little bit of like cracks in like the CGI. Specifically when he's in the woods after the dog fight and he's naked. You could kind of see how the darkness would have like hid
Yeah, the flaws. In
and
yeah.
because you
Maybe genitals.
that, too.
did we see that in this movie? But yeah, no, they definitely tried to use like the dark shots to kind of like hide all of that, the rough edges around the CGI. And I mean,
I, for one, love that scene.
which one?
The
Hulk cheeks.
Hulk cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Booty.
I think I blocked it out.
Oh,
No, not him.
A man's
How did
butt.
this get brought up?
I really like that they made the Hulk look like guts.
From
Okay.
from Berserk.
Like when
That's a
it's-
hot take.
when it like zooms in on like when you get like just a shot of the Hulk's face, it's guts from Berserk.
I mean, I could see with the hair.
The same hair, yeah. It's like kind of like straight hair spiking up.
Well,
yeah,
it's
I get
funny
it.
because
Give him the big
with-
sword and a cape, and it's like a 1-to-1 match.
Hulk, Eric
And then,
Bana
yeah.
Hulk could beat Griffith in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, he's whooping ass.
He's too strong.
Michael's not an anime guy, so he
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't know what we're talking about.
Berserk.
What?
That's a whole
If you're ever gonna
other
watch
rabbit
that anime, be in a good place in your life because
Okay.
it
I don't think he's gonna. That's gonna be an issue.
it's pretty gnarly.
hole. I thought it was funny because the Hulk was more handsome than Bruce Banner.
That's a hot.
Really? Oh.
Whoa, that is a hot take.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
like
Like,
I'm-
I
likes
don't know. Like,
beefcakes.
I was like, maybe he should have stayed as the Hulk.
Yeah, yeah.
Peering
Jennifer
into your-
Connelly was definitely into it.
Oh yeah.
After
was
she
like,
sees him rip the dogs in half, she stuck around. She was in the car. She could have just left
Yeah.
at any point.
she was like green ass, green dick.
Yeah. Right.
I feel like I'm
Is this a
peering.
PG-13
Fucking
podcast?
It was far from it.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I'm peering right into your browser history right now, based on these comments.
Hulk booty cheeks.
I meant to say pause at the end of all of this.
Okay.
So pause.
That erases.
Yeah.
Just say good.
Okay, Kalen.
Search history erased. Yeah.
Actually, you guys are the gay ones.
You got us now.
I think some of the actual sets have an interesting. I kind of talked about it earlier. The interesting, almost like children's TV show like quality. The underground base has the color scheme of like an educational fun and game store. It's like the blue, red, and yellow. You know, it was just like fucking Tinker Toy colors. You know,
I
It's like
agree.
little tykes.
I was thinking the same thing when I watched that scene. I was like, it's kind of very colorful, like selectively. Like the use of primary colors in the military base was very.
It looks like a Games by James.
Yeah,
That's exactly the store I couldn't think of.
It looked like a fun place to be.
Yeah.
By Bionicles in there.
Yeah,
They have a good time in this regiment.
yeah, for sure.
When they put Legos in little Pringles cans.
Yeah.
Bionicles.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. That's a blast from the past.
What'd you guys think of the first transformation scene in the Berkeley lab?
I'm trying to think of it.
He was he was raging. I think the first thing we see is his face, mostly in shadow, as he's like kind of like, bah.
Yeah.
It's good. I thought the interaction with him and his dad / janitor was a little strange during that time. I'm like, I feel like he should just kick your ass right now
He
because he's
caressed his lips. Like he was like,
he like mushed his face, and I'm like, Hulk just became Hulk. This is about the angriest and most unhinged he should be.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte should be splatted right now.
I know. And they kind of communicate that in the narrative with like the flashback of him and his dad playing together. But then after the Hulk's like calm, but then it switches to his dad like yelling at him, and then he gets like, he's just like, oh, wait a second, you know.
well, that's going back to that hidden trauma stuff.
Yeah, brought up. And it's funny though, because David Banner believes that the Hulk is his real son and not Bruce.
Which is, I didn't fully understand why he has to be both, because isn't the Hulk typically just, I was hit with gamma radiation and I became the Hulk? But in this one, it's my father did experiments on himself, which came to me.
Yep, passed on.
And then
was kind of like
genetically
awakened with the gamma burst thing.
Well, the Hulk was always there within Bruce. It was always that alter ego, and like came out in his behavior, you know, when he was younger. The explanation that they have where the Hulk comes from is when he has that gamma accident where he's saving Harper, I think is his name. And that's what triggers it. And you see a pretty on-the-nose shot of Hulk opening a door and revealing himself.
I laughed out loud.
I'm like, okay, yeah. It's a bit...
the cooler version of that scene is when later in the movie when he meets Hulk on the other side of the mirror.
Yeah.
And he's looking at himself, and then he gets jump scared.
No, let's for that where they're on the bridge, and the jets are trying to like shoot him.
Yeah.
That's the first time we see Hulk doing, like, other than saving Betty from the dogs, like a heroic act in this film.
Yeah.
The plane's about to go towards a helicopter, and the plane overcorrects and goes into a nosedive towards the, or not a nosedive, but he's going directly towards the bridge. The Hulk sees it, and he jumps right on the tail right before the plane hits. And then this next scene, I always thought this was really cool where they're going up. Mm-hmm. And he's like, take him to space. He'll lose oxygen before you do. And you see the Hulk, like, knocking on the
Freezing
window
up
like,
and stuff,
please stop, you know, and he goes into space, and then he stops, and he falls, and then the Hulk in his subconscious is like, puny human, why would you risk your life to save this person who's trying to kill you, essentially? I think that's so cool. I don't know. It's the alter ego thing you don't see, you know, in the modern films, but I don't know. That makes me really excited to watch that, but then again, I come from the bias of watching this film when I was very young.
I just feel like I wanted maybe a little more inner self or a little more of that Hulk character, because if it was always in him, then like our bicycle helmet wearing Bruce Banner needed to have like a little bit of that anger in him then, because he was just kind of like, you know, distant, but he wasn't angry from anything we really saw until unless I'm forgetting something, but I don't feel like I ever saw any, like, I needed him to have a little bit of a temper.
Yeah, you needed to scream at like a biker or like a pedestrian or something.
Yeah, you didn't really see him get mad until Nick Nolte's character visits him in the hospital with his dogs, which, by the way, David Banner is able to like sneak around like a ninja in this movie. Like, there are multiple scenes where he just kind of appears and then disappears.
Yeah.
Like outside Bruce's house, he's just with the dogs looking up.
Well, he was saying like he he was employed in the same company.
Yep.
Or like, but I was like, they need to do better background checks.
Yeah.
'Cause wasn't this guy responsible for like basically a terrorist attack?
Yeah, and he was locked away for 30 years.
Yeah.
I guess that was after he was released, I suppose.
I mean,
don't know.
I guess typical comic book fashion. He
Yeah.
probably just changed his name. And
Yeah, he
identity
blew up
and
like
kind of stuff.
a base, I think, in the film.
He bombed a military base,
Yeah.
blew up like an entire town. He is not leaving prison in any stretch of the imagination.
And he got 30 years. That's pretty good.
I think Sam Elliott referred to him as like collateral damage too. It was like, oh, I didn't even care that he went to jail. It's like the man blew up the base. It's like,
This is post 9/11, mind you, too. Like,
can we talk about that for like a half second?
yes,
I was kind of blown away that in 2003 they had the U.S. Army being the bad guy.
yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah,
Because
I never thought about that.
he's like, when like Sam Elliott is giving his like evil villain speech in his like office on the base, he's like, there's a lot of money and a lot of powerful people trying to get, I think just like a sample of Bruce Banner.
Well, so the company's name is Atheon, and in real life, there's Raytheon, which is the big weapons company. And so, I mean, that's military-industrial complex right there, where it's like, these men are some shady shit.
Do we think this is because it's from Ang Lee, not an American filmmaker, with a
yes.
fresher perspective, maybe?
Perhaps. But that is a good point, though. Only 2 years after the fact.
You also don't see any U.S. servicemen die in the movie.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah.
He shakes them out like
Yeah.
a salt shaker out
Yeah.
of the tank.
He threw a fucking tank like 5 miles, and that guy was fine.
Yeah.
So like
You know
the
what I mean?
politics is like kind of weird, where it's like, yeah, the U.S. military does some bad stuff,
I'm
but
sure it was
those
studio
those
interference.
troopers, we gotta keep them safe.
I think
Support the troops.
the only person who dies that we see on film is Talbot when he's like covering Hulk in the foam in the military base, and he's like, I need a sample of him, and then like Hulk gets bigger because he's getting angrier, and then he shoots the grenade and it bounces back.
And the
shit
way
was so
that
funny.
he he was like splatted onto the screen.
He
like,
turned into like a 2D image.
that was the weirdest decision.
Yeah.
I think it was just like that's what they would draw in the comic.
That's
book.
true,
That's
yeah.
how he
Right.
would die in a comic book.
like a PG-13 way of seeing somebody.
It just looked
die.
really bad.
like shit.
It is kind of funny watching it though now. Yeah.
I thought the desert scene was pretty awesome.
My favorite part of the desert scene is because this is 2003. The soundtrack has to be.
Oh, I love that.
And they do it like 3 times.
And it's like the Arizona desert.
yeah, they're in America. Like fuck, it's the desert and it's 2003.
It's like down at sound mixing headquarters, they just have a lot of buttons, and there's one that just says desert, and it does one thing.
Soundtrack. That was your favorite part of the desert, though.
It definitely made me laugh.
No, I clocked that too because I just rewatched Dune, and there's a lot of in Dune too. Not Dune 2.
Well, Dune is basically
As well.
Dune is basically the oil wars, so it kind of makes sense because it's
What?
supposed to be the Middle East.
It's about a space
No,
thing.
this is
Kalen.
about the fucking Americans going to the
We're gonna
fucking
get
Middle
lost in the weeds
East.
talking about a better movie.
Let's
that's
talk
true.
about the Middle East now.
Back to Israel Palestine.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lost in the Desert, how did that scene end?
He jumped.
Somehow he ends up in the sewers of like San Francisco, and I'm just like wondering.
Yeah, so Hulk is
I have
able to
questions.
cover like 10 miles in one leap,
It's pretty sick.
which is canonical, and I think they capture it really well in this movie. I think it looks really cool.
He was actually powerful in this, which is another thing you don't really see in the MCU stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's way more soy in the MCU.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, literally.
True.
I think in the MCU, at first, they played him as like an animal, almost.
Yeah.
And in this movie, I mean, he definitely does like animalistic things, but like he's almost like an in-between of like that rabid Hulk and almost like not a Professor Hulk because he doesn't talk at all, but he's aware of like who he is as he gets into the movie. You know.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny that Sam Elliott, so in the desert, he calls for backup. And so, like, 4 tanks have been destroyed. And he's like, I got to get on the phone with the president. He fucking 3-way calls with the president.
Dude.
What do they send? 4 choppers.
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
this is the U.S. military.
It was getting serious.
Best we can do?
You can have whatever you need.
Yeah.
The rest of them were in Iraq. So.
Yeah. And the president's like fishing too in that scene too. I was like, that's great.
It's just George Bush at the golf
Yeah.
course.
It's supposed to be
He's
like a George Bush
I'll
guy.
send out them choppers. Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive. Yep.
We must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
I like that they sent like the elite stealth helicopters and they didn't do anything, and then they bring them back later too. And it's
Yeah.
just like, oh fuck, we've got nothing else. We already used the stealth helicopters.
Let's use the green nuke.
Yeah, the green
At the
nuke.
end of the movie, yeah.
Watch it, by the way.
But first, him and his dad need to do a little stage play. Now watch.
Ooh.
That scene, I was like, what is... So they reunite the father and the son at a military base, and they're just kind of sitting, Bruce Banner's strapped to a chair,
Yep.
and they're like, Nick Nolte, you know, like, step right up. Do what you got to do.
Let's talk about acting masterclass for Nick Nolte in that scene.
Shall we call it Shakespearean?
Shakespearean, yeah.
He's so sick.
I know. He plays a really good sick father.
It's true.
Like mentally ill guy. You know, like somebody who doesn't care about his son really, but only cares about like himself. And and you see that in the scene. He's kind of like mocking Bruce for like crying about his dead mom. He's like, "Go ahead and cry," you know.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be okay. You know. Yeah, kid doesn't care. You know.
It's very melodrama. It is very... You hit on it. I think it's very old Hollywood, and what comes off as cheesy is, I think, some homage to old monster movies. I think definitely when Hulk shows up for the first time at Sexy Lady's house. I'm blanking on
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's literally like the Kong scene, like
Oh yeah.
King Kong, very screaming.
Well, I mean, I think the Hulk, to begin with, when the original comics came out, it was basically that, where it's like Jekyll and Hyde or like the Wolfman. It was, I think they were going back to those roots of the Hulk. And then it's like, then you have the other Hulk, which is like the Marvel Universe Hulk, where he's like part of the Avengers, doing all this other kind of stuff, fighting fucking gods and giants and people in Asgard and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Eating tacos. That's what I remember Hulk
That
doing.
too.
They
Wearing cardigans.
Yeah, they definitely tried to aim for like a more grounded, like as best as they could, believable Hulk in this film.
That's also a trend with most of the superhero movies that came out during that time.
Oh yeah, early 2000s.
Where it was like, we're making everything cool. You know, you think about the X-Men, they're all wearing leather and leotards and shit. And
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
back then that shit rocked, you know? And like we were
biker
like,
outfits.
yeah, literally.
I mean, this is the Matrix trilogy's coming out right there. Leather is in.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, for the first X-Men movie, their final uniforms were just all leather. Yeah.
And I don't think that really changed up until Iron Man.
Yeah, they all started wearing ballistic vests after that.
Yeah, like, but I mean, thinking like the first Avengers movie, Captain America had the bright suit on, looking real goofy and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the kind of superhero stuff I like. I'm not real big into the over-the-top dramatic, like, oh, you have to take our superhero seriously kind of thing. I'm not real big into that. Like, The Dark Knight is fine as a film. Like, I think it's a great thriller. It's not a good Batman movie, though. You know what I mean?
That's an extremely hot take.
Right.
We talked about
No,
this before.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's not a Batman movie.
No. And
It's
it's
a
like,
great
if you
thriller.
take Batman out of that movie, I think it would still be a good movie.
If you took Hulk out of this movie, would it still be a good movie?
No.
It would be it would be, I think, closer to the movie. Like, I feel like the Hulk stuff almost doesn't fit sometimes in a Hulk movie,
Yeah.
based on like how much time we spend on the melodrama. And I guess it's all tied into his character, but it's just like, especially I think once we have like the rabid Hulk poodle, I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like these two tones.
But I think if it's like my overall like in general, if we really think about it hard, these are a bunch of people wearing goofy ass costumes doing goofy ass shit.
But the Hulk is serious.
Are we supposed to take this seriously?
Wear shorts.
Yeah, purple shorts.
I don't know. And then you get the Zack Snyder fanboys who are like, fucking Justice League, man, it's the best shit ever and it's the coolest shit.
You should finish this by naming every superhero movie ever, because you're on track.
You like superhero movies? Name them all.
All right, let's start off from the early 2000s. So we had X-Men. We had the Hulk.
This was not a real suggestion, Kalen.
No, I'm doing it. We have Spider-Man. We got Spider-Man 2. Remember Daredevil?
Oh, shout out to Hellboy.
Hellboy. You remember
Those were good.
Elektra and Catwoman?
Oh,
Those were all movies.
You're
The
right.
Punisher, The Punisher with Thomas Jane was that movie kind of rocked.
remember Jonah Hex?
Oh shit,
that was a big deal.
Gross.
No,
That was
nobody
the
saw
movie
it.
with,
I haven't seen it.
Ghost
Megan
Rider.
Fox.
That was like
The
2000.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider
movies.
with Nick Cage. Yeah.
Remember the Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer?
I thought the Silver Surfer was cool as shit.
Yeah, it was sicker
I forgot all about those movies.
for sure.
And the thing,
Captain America's in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, he is as the human flame.
Kalen.
Is that his name? Human Torch.
Do you remember the Green Hornet? Starring
Hornet rocked.
Seth Rogen.
That's a good.
It is a steaming pile of shit.
That's
what you're talking about.
That's a good movie.
It's so bad.
Green Lantern.
That
Also-
movie is also a steaming pile.
Steaming pile of shit.
Green. The Hulk is green. Let's get back on track.
It's true.
Good segue.
Where were
All
we?
right, we can move on to, hey, what are you trying to say?
All right, let me just get that last measurement on your
Thank you. You know, I need this for the wedding.
Okay, well,
I need it really quickly. Like
It could take about a week to do.
It could take a week. So, what are you trying to say? He's trying to say that I'm so big, my bum is so big, you need to order to various countries far away to get enough material to make a pair of pants so I can fit my incredibly obese buttocks into a pair of your specially made little suit.
No, I mean, I'm the only one working here this week.
Oh, okay.
John kind of like explained a little bit already about like the effects of trauma on a child and just how those memories can come back at the wrong times and really affect your adult life.
Yeah, it's like what are things that you see at the beginning and at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
You know, in the final battle, Hulk can't beat the Absorbing Man because the Absorbing Man just keeps, absorbing the Hulk. The more he fights, the more he takes from him, and that's what he says to the Hulk. And so the Hulk's like, okay, I can't fight you, so I'm going to stop for a second. And then he decides to, you see the images of like his childhood in his head. And he's like, I will give you all these horrible memories that you've put upon me, and I'll give them all to you. And at first, he's getting bigger. He's getting more powerful. He's like, yeah, this is what I want. But then he realizes like Bruce has gone through some shit, and it's something he can't handle at all. And he even says, it's not stopping, take it back. And then he becomes like the giant jellyfish. As a manifestation of all the trauma.
I love how all the memories are just floating.
Yeah, and you see his face. It's
he looked like the dude from Wizard of Oz.
So that's what happened at the end of this movie. 'Cause I had no clue.
John is
my
like-
job is
and
to
they
explain
bomb
all the. Yeah,
John
they blow him up.
He has picked this movie apart.
Yeah,
Like, for
no,
real.
trust me.
I didn't know it went this deep.
Oh yeah,
But I'm glad I stuck
you
around.
can't go back from it. I thought the ending was okay. I really wanted more of a fight. As a kid, I was like, they fight for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's dumb. I want to see more. Stop talking and more Hulk fighting.
The Hulk moves to a third world country and starts.
He just rages out and Latin America. Oh, problem solved. He's down there.
Yeah, but it's almost like a segue into Edward Norton's Hulk.
It is.
I don't know if you guys noticed that, right? Okay.
It's kind of strange because I almost thought that those two were connected because
Yeah.
he's literally in like South America.
It's strange that
It's
they
like-
would start the Incredible Hulk in Brazil. I think
Yeah.
is where it was.
But I think also that's also part of like the Hulk's whole thing is like he's constantly
On the move,
On
yeah.
the move. He's on the run. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's what we call, and this was an early example, a requel, where they were kind of rebooting and they were kind of doing a sequel.
Yeah. I think Edward Norton should have stayed around as Bruce Banner. I actually liked his portrayal of the character.
I think he got fired.
Yeah, I hear he's like notoriously hard to work with. That's what I've heard. I
can imagine.
Yeah.
He seems like a hot-tempered guy.
Yeah, have you seen Fight Club? He's crazy.
Oh.
I heard, so I think he was very involved with the writing process of that movie. And then they were just kind of like, Disney's like, we don't want a guy that writes, has opinions. Like, fucking Mark, step right up.
Oh, yeah.
You guys looked exactly alike.
No, they don't.
Don Cheadle? You're Terrence
I
Howard.
was about to say, the Terrence Howard and then Don Cheadle was kind of shocking.
What?
I even like the line that he says. He's like, hey, it's me. I'm here. Deal with it. You know? That's directly to the audience
We're
in
like,
Iron
whoa,
Man
Terrence
2.
Howard got a tan.
And his skull.
In
just
Rwanda?
completely.
Rwanda. Hotel Wakanda.
Oh.
Gotta cover that movie now.
Exes.
Yeah.
It's all about daddy issues. It's paternal
All
trauma.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any Letterboxd reviews?
I didn't bring any to the table.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Then we won't do those. It looks like we can move on to Let the Hate Flow Through You.
All right.
Good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
Let the Hate Flow Through You is when we air out our annoyances and complaints. Andrew, I think you have a lot.
There just wasn't enough Hulk smashing.
Okay.
You know, he gets out there, he crushes a couple tanks. He fights the helicopters for a little bit. I would have liked to have seen him like squash somebody like a grate. Maybe we get a fight in traffic. You could like toss some cars around.
Cars with children inside?
Yeah. No, not necessarily.
Preferably.
Yes.
Okay.
Either way. But like not enough Hulk smashing.
Fair.
Heard.
Fair.
I think we could all agree on that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You telling me you didn't like the internal struggle?
Well, I did actually. I thought it was probably better and more interesting than any superhero movie would get now, and I think we've kind of talked about that. But I kind of would have wanted it to have been all of that or all the other thing, you know? Fair. Like, if we're doing a psycho thriller where the Hulk is like the antagonist, let's do that. But if you're giving me a silly superhero movie, let's get a couple more tanks getting tossed around.
Yeah.
It would have definitely benefited from at least one more Hulk smash scene. I think the San Francisco part where he just bursts out of the ground and then stands there was kind of a missed opportunity, not gonna lie.
Yeah, he could have went full on roid mode.
Yeah.
If the Hulk destroyed San Francisco in 2003, think of how much better it would be right now.
Oh, preach,
Things
man.
would be so much better.
Preach, man.
They'd build low-income housing for all the homeless.
Yeah, after the Hulk smashed that building, you know, things have been on the up and up.
I think, speaking of the San Francisco scene, though, I think, have a little, 5-10 minute, he rages out in San Francisco, he meets up with girlfriend and a movie. I was ready for credits to roll right about then.
Yeah.
You know?
For
This
sure.
movie could also just lose 30-40 minutes on the back end, be a little breezier, and I think...
If this was a tight 90, that would be perfect.
But it's 2.5 hours. And I think we spend a lot of time on the character stuff, which I like, but then it's like we also, while it doesn't seem like there's a lot of action, it just seems like there's a lot of just it's a little mishmash. Like it's stretching somehow, and it's like we don't need to stretch. It feels like we could have.
It feels like something that could have been fixed in post. Like
maybe it just. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you think there is a way that they could have balanced it more as a psychological thriller and a superhero movie? Do you think that's possible in any way?
More scenes like when the Hulk shows up in the mirror, or just I'm having bad dreams, or I'm roiding out at work, right. But as Bruce Banner, not as Hulk.
Right.
I'm angry. I have all this internal pain and suffering, and maybe because this character is so stoic. he doesn't really express anything, especially to the girlfriend. Let's have an argument scene between those two. You know what I mean? Just to kind of build tension between that relationship. And maybe she's not okay with him being a monster. You know what I mean? And like, that's kind of scary to her, or maybe she wants to back away. That's, you know.
I think Jennifer Connelly's performance in this was really good, because talking about like her relationship with Bruce Banner and the Hulk. When she finds out Bruce Banner is the Hulk, you can kind of see in her after like the whole dog scene that like things are never going to be normal again. I'm taking care of this, basically this fugitive now, and my dad is the one who's hunting him. And you see that after the next morning, she calls Thunderbolt Ross. She's like, I'm scared and I don't know what to do. And he's like, I'll be there. So I thought that was a really good performance from Jennifer Connelly. Yeah, I don't know.
I actually like their dynamic a little bit, like her and her dad. And I thought it was a little poetic that both sides of this relationship also have like their father issues. And like Sam Elliott's character, he is the hard-ass general, but he also clearly, he gives her a lot of leeway to try to like fix this problem her way.
Yeah.
He does not put his foot down until like the end.
It's only when he finds out that there's very little that he can do to change the situation.
Yeah.
It's when he finds out that the tanks didn't work, the helicopters didn't work, the planes didn't work.
It's true.
I'm going to send in, you know, my daughter. Who loves this man, you know.
I think this was a much better relationship than Toby and Kirsten Dunst in Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That relationship was toxic from the get-go. Yeah.
I think it's just because everybody hates Tobey Maguire that spends time with him, so you can't get that chemistry on screen. You know?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He does not have rave reviews from almost anyone. Have you heard the story where they wanted, during the Punch-Out scene in the first Spider-Man, like, somebody gave the actor that was in the, like, Punch-Out scene, somebody was offering him, like, $500 or, like, $1,000 to, like, really whop him in the face.
Are you talking about in the school?
Yeah, the first fight.
Oh.
The first Spidey
Flash?
fight. Yeah, with Flash.
I
Flash
wouldn't want to
Thompson.
fight you, Flash. I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
Yeah. Somebody was trying to pay Flash Thompson to really rock Tobey Maguire one time.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe that's why that relationship is lacking low charisma. I bet Eric Bana and Jennifer Connelly both wonderful humans. I have no idea. I'm just saying they seem to enjoy each other's company regardless. And I think if somebody's really toxic behind the screen, you got to be a really great actor to, be in love with them the next minute.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I didn't know that about Tobey Maguire. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think he's grown up since then, but during that time, I
I'm
think
sure
he was like a real dickhead.
Yeah. Seems a lot more aggressive nowadays.
No. You guys need to back up. I can't see the cars. Okay, back up, guys. You can't see the cars. They got the fuck out of the way. I can't see. There are cars there, motherfucker. Get out of the way.
There's stops for you, dude.
We're blocking the cars for you. Thank you, Spider-Man.
Have you seen him like rage out at the paparazzi?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't blame anybody for doing that, but it was just kind of funny. Yeah, for sure.
Imagine leaving a restaurant and there's just people blocking your path.
Yeah.
Every time you go out to eat.
Yeah.
It was just funny because I was like, that's Bully Maguire right there.
No.
I think I
Speaking of Danny Elfman, Danny Elfman did the score for this movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's why it sounded the same. Like, that's why I thought the opening credits sounded very similar, or seemed very similar to the Spider-Man one. That makes sense.
I was surprised when I learned that Danny Elfman did this. And if you guys don't know who Danny Elfman is, he did the score for Nightmare Before Christmas, Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
Basically any Tim Burton movie.
Any Tim Burton movie that ever existed.
He did the Batman.
Tim Burton Batman movies.
Mm-hmm. And great scores, too.
Yeah, so he kind of had a good deal with superhero movies back in the early 2000s. So
certified hood classic.
What do you guys think of the? What do you guys think of the soundtrack?
Bangers.
Yeah, it was all right.
I liked it. Yeah. It's got that old charm,
yeah.
like you were saying, like a lot like the Spider-Man movies. I think it was fitting for the tone this movie's going for.
The credit scene a rock music song just came on. I was very like blown away by that. I was like, you don't hear that much.
They did that in
Well,
Spider-Man
this was
as
2003.
well.
I know, right? But I was just like, oh yeah, that's right. This movie came out.
I think
then.
Spider-Man had was it Switchfoot or like it was some big
Nickelback.
rock Nickelback. That's
Yeah.
what it was. And they did that hero song at the end.
That was very
It's a
popular.
banger. Yeah.
I was on radio for years.
The early 2000s hold a special place in my heart for sure. Like it was just a good time to be alive.
Oh,
back
yeah.
then. Also, we were children, so the pressures
that's
of
what it
society
is.
were not as hard. I get it, but it's I don't know, MTV. You just think about it; it's nostalgic.
Yeah, it's a warm feeling, you know.
It gives me a warm feeling. I don't think most of those things were good. We can leave a lot of those things
Oh, sure.
in the past and don't return them. Do you guys remember the Dorito like orbs that you could get that was also in like a Bionicle bottle?
Absolutely.
Does anybody remember
Yes.
this? Yes.
Yes.
Orbs,
Yes.
Dorito
It was like
Orbs.
Flaming Hot Cheeto asteroids, I think is what they called them.
Where they just like
And it
cheese
said
balls.
3D.
They're like Dorito cheese balls.
Yeah.
They had Oreo versions of those.
I did not say Oreo. I think I said Flaming Hot Cheeto.
Does anyone remember the green Doritos?
Yes,
The guacamole ones?
they still have those.
Do they really?
Yes.
No way.
They do
Are they
have
like
those.
the same flavor, or is it like a different?
I believe it's the same. I don't think they're out all the time. It's like a seasonal thing, or like they bring them out during the summer.
Do you guys remember Shrek chocolate syrup?
Was it just green?
Yes, it was green.
It was
It was green.
That was a big time for adding food coloring to things and selling it to kids.
There's a lot of green things back in the early 2000s.
There was green, a lot of
Nickelodeon.
blues.
People are getting slimed
Yeah.
out of nowhere. You know.
Yeah.
There was definitely green ketchup and I think blue ketchup at the time too. There was
Purple
like
ketchup,
wacky kids would take it.
Now, if you told somebody that you're gonna slime them, it'd probably be you'd probably get slapped.
Yeah.
or shot.
Probably a restraining order.
You want to get slimed?
Dude, they got slimed a lot back then.
Yeah, they did.
Look up slime compilations. You won't regret it.
Speaking of browser history,
Come on.
So I think we could probably answer the final question: is this a perfect movie?
You lost a baby brother. Perfect in every way. I had a baby brother. I had a little baby brother. And he was perfect. Perfect in every way.
Anybody?
it's up there.
Really?
No, it's better and more interesting than any superhero movie we'd get now, but it's not very.
I
good.
think this movie is definitely a victim of its time when they were trying to peddle a lot of like similarly themed superhero movies, or it was like very serious, like you said, Kalen. That I don't think a lot of people could probably appreciate it until now, just with the oversaturation of superhero films nowadays that all kind of have a similar tone. I don't know.
Well, I'm so used to the MCU stuff. I was waiting for somebody to crack a joke every 5 seconds in this.
There's like zero jokes.
There
in
are
this
zero
movie.
jokes. Yeah, there's
Good.
maybe one.
It's not a comedy.
There's like one passive joke where he's talking to Betty, where he takes his helmet off in reference to his friend joking that, were you wearing that helmet when you broke up with her?
That was the
And that was
tamest
it.
joke.
That was it.
The tamest joke of all time, literally.
Nobody looked around and said, "Whoa, isn't this crazy?"
I know. Right?
Burp, that just happened.
Whoa, he's eating shawarma.
Whoa. Yeah, it was not a lot of jokes.
It would be really funny if that happened just one time.
Well, that's just happened.
After
Go ahead. Sorry.
after our secondary bad guy that dies in the hallway when he throws his grenade and it bounces back at him.
Hotel, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
That part
bathroom, hotel. It was a hallway. Is what I'm really getting at. There was goop. He got gooped. Speaking of getting slimed, Hulk basically got
Hulk
slimed.
got slimed in this movie.
Yeah, they were like, bring out the phone. Like we're supposed to like kind of like have a frame of reference for what
Bring out the
that
phone.
is.
We've used the phone before. Trust me. We're good. We
I
know
thought
what
that
the-
was
We
the
overthrew
coolest.
Saddam with this stuff.
The foam.
We foam our employees all the time.
Like it's an insect trap for people.
What about, I guess, early Hulk days? They didn't really know what he was up, but I feel like foam wouldn't be high on my, like,
Yeah.
you know, not. It's like bathroom caulk that they're like splattering him with. I'm like, what's happening? Cocking?
Oh, yeah. I've just never heard somebody say it that way.
You could seal up the tub with that, you know?
Yeah.
No leaks.
You ever seen the videos of people sealing up their tubs with ramen and stuff?
What?
I've seen someone fill a pothole with ramen one time, and it worked.
So like people like they'll find a crack or a hole in their in their toilet and bust open a pack of ramen. You just start shoving that bitch up there, sand it down, and you got a new toilet.
It's a HOA trade secret right
Yeah,
there.
apparently.
This is how you know the economy is bad.
We're using food to fix things.
We're using ramen to fix everything.
What was your favorite scene where they were eating food in this movie?
Oh, God.
Is there any glizzies gobbled?
The scene where
I don't like an actual glizzy. I don't think so in this movie. No, unfortunately.
we need more glizzies.
Missed opportunity for sure.
I think there was a scene with the little girl and she was having.
Ice
No,
cream.
that was the funny scene. I forgot to mention that, where she's like dreaming about her and her dad at the diner, and then her dad leaves, and then Bruce Banner comes in her dream and just starts like picking her up,
And then he
he's
smells
like-
her. Yeah.
he's like twirling her around. It looks like he's choking the shit out of her. Though.
She's okay.
It was just the goofiest looking scene. And I was like,
Well,
what
then
the
Bruce Banner chokes the shit out of her in real life.
It's true.
Maybe she
Oh,
likes
yeah.
After he's done being pissy, he's like,
He's like, I would never do that to you, and then he actually does that in real life.
Yeah.
As long as I got a safe word.
yeah, that's
Communication.
The safe word is gamma.
call.
No, I was laughing at the general just leaving his daughter. Just like, there's an emergency.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave my 4-year-old at the ice cream shop.
I figured this was like small town, like or like they were on a military base. This was like
Yeah.
a
Should've
community.
just like tossed her the keys. Like,
This was like the Oppenheimer shit.
I thought it was very. I mean,
all
it
lived
is set up as a dream, but if that happened in real life, it kind of broke my immersion. Why would you just abandon your daughter at an ice cream shop?
take her with you. Like, drop her off at
What are
home.
you doing?
He's
Just
got to go deal with an emergency. You can't have this
Fucking
little
nuke
girl.
is about to go off.
exactly, and it's a green explosion.
Yeah,
Scarier
they're
than the
launching a
other one.
green nuke.
You know it's nuclear if it's green.
It's not a perfect movie. I think we're over here.
Yeah, I
No.
agree.
I thought John was getting close to saying.
I enjoyed it.
I tried my best.
Yeah, I had a better time watching it than I thought I was going to.
It didn't make me feel miserable, and that's one thing we kind of point out here on the podcast. Where it's like a big indicator is that this didn't make me feel like shit after watching it, and that's cool in my book. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Jennifer Connelly's just like, he's absorbing everything?
Oh yeah, he's absorbing. They're
I'm like,
absorbing.
what is happening? Is this the only explanation we're gonna get of
They're
this?
absorbing all the ambient energy.
Duh.
I'm like, glad somebody's fucking telling me what's going on. 'Cause
Yeah.
I will say that final fight with him and his dad was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Dog shit.
I thought it could have been longer. That's my only complaint.
It was so dark, and it
couldn't
was
see
like
anything. Yeah.
when there was CGI, it looked like their budget was running out. Like it was like we're getting close to the end here. We
like,
gotta
all
wrap
right,
this up.
dimness down, ship it.
You
We
watch
gotta go.
you watch that movie on an older TV, you can't see anything.
Oh, I bet.
You
I
can't
bet.
see anything in those scenes except for the Green Hulk, but it just looks like shadows.
Is that why the Hulk is so bright green?
That's why he's so saturated in the movie in the dark scenes.
Yeah.
Because they use the dark. Yeah, he looks like Shrek in some scenes.
No, Shrek has browner hues than this.
I know.
He's like incandescent.
He's very green in this movie.
Shrek
Yeah.
versus the Hulk, who's win?
Yeah, I think the Incredible Hulk. I think the green in that movie with Edward Norton was good.
Yeah.
They made it look more like a skin, like
Yeah.
like it was more like yellowish in
It was
a
a
way.
hue, yeah, it was just
6 years later, though?
I think so.
2008?
2008.
wow, that's really not that far apart.
Not really.
Back then, it felt like it was like decades.
Yeah.
Before the new Hulk came out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's weird. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, he's very green in this movie, though.
All right.
Well, so this is our first movie to not make it from Friends February. So don't feel like failures, but
You kind of are.
That's all right.
well,
I was before this, too.
Am I getting paid for this?
your compensation is 1 glass of water. Second one, you're gonna owe me a quarter.
For that good Minneapolis tap.
I'm living right outside this window here, guys. It's pretty serious.
All right, well.
He's just laughing. All right, go ahead.
John and Andrew. Andrew and John.
Whoa, man. You got to get it together.
I did the eyes wrong. I knew the names. I did the eyes wrong. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again.
Twas a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Next
still
time Andrew picks the movie, though. Cause,
Yeah.
I agree.
We're going to do Come and See.
What? Is this another browser history joke?
No.
That's a foreign film. It's only 16 minutes long.
It's a Thai movie.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Do you know what movie Ang Lee made semi-recently?
No, what?
Gemini Man, starring 2 Will Smiths. Have you ever considered
That's right.
watching it?
And I thought one was bad.
That's right. No, that's right.
I remember when they slapped each other in unison.
Double the Will Smiths, double the slaps.
A meta joke.
You guys hear Chris Rock slap Will Smith?
What?
You guys hearing about this?
Let me tell you, it was a great day on Twitter. This is one of the few good ones. It was right after that.
Trump getting COVID.
Yep.
Will Smith getting slapped.
That's like the Hall of Fame.
What a time to be alive.
Oh, my God.
You know?
It's crazy.
We're living in the future we always dreamed of.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, we still haven't figured out how to end the podcast, so we usually just kind of...
We always kind of
We
ramp.
kind of...
You guys should sing a song or something.
We need to come up with...
What's a song that's
We
like...
could do the undulating from the
What?
desert scene.
How racist was that, Andrew? On a scale from...
These are the people
got
of
the-
Arizona.
That's right.
Contact Goodman Control. Patch data to the assets. Contact HQ.
George, you can drive, right?
Bullshit, you're staying here. Plus, there's a game of Aussie rules footy on the dish tonight. Semi-final, Saints versus Maggies, not that American shit. I want you to see it.
One condition. You Aussie pussies got any beer around here?
Yes, it's on! Woohoo! Yes! You know, it doesn't matter if you're a small fucker or a big fucker, you can play this game because the small fuckers go in, barrow underneath, you get the ball up when the ball hits the ground like that. Watch, little fuckers down, they go, there they are. Big fuckers, smack them. Little fucker, off to a big fucker. Now he's gonna go down to another big fucker. I hate that big fucker.
Where are the black guys?
There's a couple out there. I hate this team. Magpies. Hate the Maggies. They're like, I don't know what the equivalent in NFL. No helmets. No fucking helmets because they're real men. See? Just explain the game to them. They're loving it.